Got him. Got him. There we go. That pattern is so hard. Oh, too late.
Oh, yeah.
Dan, why actually help the people when they can make things worse? Expect a lot of complaints in the future when these takedowns happen and people don't realize they're wishing monkey paws every time. Okay. So, now that I'm not being attacked by everything, yeah. The Nintendo Music app is a joke. And everybody should know that it's a joke, and if you're using it, I'm glad that you have it as an option, but please do not take this as like, oh, companies are your friend now.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, where do I begin with this whole thing? I was considering making a video, and I feel like I shouldn't because I should just let people enjoy what they enjoy, but the Nintendo Music app is a joke. Their soundtracks have been available for years on different websites because people got tired of waiting for them to actually try. So they started ripping those soundtracks and making them available for people to listen to whenever they wanted. Right? Okay. So we have that out of the way. Now fast forward to today when I have over 90 gigabytes of video game music on my phone. And my computer, which they can never take away from me even if they wanted to. And the fact that YouTube and all that stuff, Nintendo does not, to my knowledge, in my opinion, I don't think they care anymore about people using Nintendo music in their videos because oftentimes they are more likely to, right? In order to talk about a relevant game. And think about it this way. What is stopping anybody from using the official Nintendo Music app and playing the music through a speaker or recording it by plugging it into another device and putting that music in a video? What is stopping them? Who is to tell the difference? How do you do it? You don't. Because if you're putting someone else's music in a video, it is technically transformative work. Does that make it morally correct or legally correct? No. I guess not. But here is the thing. You don't own anything. Like, we all know this, right? We all know, for the most part, we don't own a single bloody thing. This is not new. Like, everybody knows that. Okay? The thing that really ticked off Nintendo is the fact that people were using the soundtracks without like getting anything back, okay? It's when you put those videos on YouTube for people to listen to and they're getting nothing for it, they're not getting the ad revenue. If it's going in a video like promoting their video game where you're already talking over the music and you're not just purely listening to it, I don't think they care about that. I don't, and maybe I'm a contrarian for that. Oh, I'm sure. Wait till any of the music they put in the music app gets on Content ID and it gets auto-claimed day one of upload. I wouldn't be surprised. They'll probably just do that as a bonus, right? But here's the thing. They don't care nearly as much about the thing going on with YouTube if it's just like background music for a video, especially one about one of their game reviewers, like Game Explain, Nintendo Life, all of like IGN and whatever. They do this all the time. Some of your favorite YouTubers, whatever the heck, like RT Game, Failboat, Arlo, etc. Like just some of the random ones that they've been doing this for years and their videos are fine. Okay? It's the music channels. Like, heck, even the one that I have run, correct? I have one. It mostly does not have first-party Nintendo music on it. It generally has, and I'm sorry, you guys got me started and now I'm going and I keep summoning Luigi, go away. So, okay. I understand that my Origami King medleys are not technically transformative work. It is stringing together music that has been made a certain way to play at a certain time, and I'm combining that music together. Am I transforming it? Yes. But is it also technically just the music? Yes. Can they take down the videos? Yes. They have. They did that to one version of the medley that I did and not the other one, because that makes sense. So, what is the difference between releasing this music on a CD or iTunes or Google Play Music whenever that used to be a thing, right? And I'm sorry, the music got, now the music's quiet. That's, it's weirdly fitting. So Got to gather my thoughts here. This has been an interesting couple of days for me to think about and simmer on of this. What is the difference between buying, like, say, the Pokemon soundtracks on iTunes versus using this Nintendo Music app? You don't get to keep it. It's dependent on a constant Nintendo Switch Online membership in which you don't own anything, okay? Because it's technically considered, oh, it's a free perk, right? Okay, that's really cool. Wow, how respectful to the Nintendo fans that don't have a Switch. Not everyone has a Switch. Not everyone has the money for a Switch. Not everyone has, like, can spend monthly fees for an online service. Okay? I shouldn't even have Switch Online. Somebody was very kind to give it to me. I say this all the time. Yeah, not everyone has money for NSO. Everything's a subscription now. Do you see where I'm going with this? At the very least, if you liked a Pokemon game back in the day, you could buy the album on iTunes for like $10 and you get to keep it and put it on whatever the heck you want, and that was it. It was so simple. And then for a while, Nintendo would occasionally release soundtracks for like some of their most popular games. That's cool, man. That's awesome. And you know what? People ripped those and they put it online, and that's not necessarily cool, but eventually they stopped selling that CD because you're not going to sell it forever. So some of those people who were listening to it are like, wow, the quality of this music is great. The soundtrack setup is great. The tags are great. I want other people to hear this and share it. That is what happens on the internet. You're not going to stop it entirely. You can try, but it will never fully stop. And if you think that that will fully stop, you are kidding yourself. Nintendo does not fundamentally understand how the internet works. Same goes for piracy. People don't think, they just pirate, or more often these days, just keep blurting it out while unintentionally giving to the corporations ammo. Well, yeah, that's kind of a problem, yeah? That's kind of a problem. And look, Nintendo is in the right to take down whatever they want because it is their property. I understand that. That is fine. That is fine. It is their choice, all right? But all I would love to do to support them is to be able to buy albums of the games I like, to listen to the music I want to, and not have them make a curated playlist for me because that's what they felt releasing on their app that day. The NSO drip feed is stupid, guys. It's so bad. We played a single one of those games in the 3 years I've had a Switch. We played like Kirby Tilt and Tumble because it was funny, and they added like motion controls. So that was, you know, something different. That was a cool way to preserve that game. But I don't own it. Switch Online's not going to last forever. This app will probably not last forever. I'm sorry. I really did not want to rant about this today, but like I've had it sitting in my head this whole time. I have no doubt that there will probably be more attacks on the Content ID with the music and all of that stuff, and there's going to be a lot of playlists going down. So download the music locally. I don't care. I'm at that point now. I don't care anymore. There are far better albums with far better structure and tags that actually credit the composers. Nintendo Music does not do that. It just says copyright, Nintendo. Credit your composers. Credit your composers. You say the composers want to be anonymous? Why are they credited in the staff roll of every game? What's going on here, guys? I have read so many comments of the past day of people that just do not seem to understand this stuff. And maybe I'm the crazy one. It's fine, okay? That this is not my cross to bear. This is not, it's whatever. At the end of the day, I'm going to keep enjoying music the way I want to, because Nintendo doesn't want to sell it. They want to rent it. And technically, yes, that is their way of legally making it available. That's fine. Good for them. I'm happy that people who have been waiting for 10 years to listen to a single soundtrack that they want can do it now because they played by the rules forever. And it's finally being rewarded by a drip feed that makes them think, oh, there's a Nintendo Music app now, and it's going to keep getting more content sometime. We don't know when. But that means I've got to keep the app, and I got to keep NSO now, because maybe they'll add my F-Zero soundtrack. Maybe they'll add my Pikmin soundtrack. Maybe they'll add my Metroid soundtrack. This is why I can't make a video on this. I'm thinking I maybe just shouldn't, because this is not what I wanted to do today. I'm sorry. This whole app just upsets me, and I'm sorry for having a rant on stream. It is so not worth it. It's really stupid. You're not crazy. You have nuance. But people don't see that. See? Maybe they'll add the Chibi Robo Photo Finder soundtrack. Yeah, exactly. They don't care about the franchises that they don't want you to have access to. They don't want you to play your 3DS anymore. They want you to have a Switch, and they want you to have the NSO app with that Switch, and they want you to have the Nintendo Music app to go with that Switch. It's Apple. It's iPhone all over again. You will own nothing and be happy. Exactly. If you have ever seen how shareware worked in like the late 90s, you know this will continue to happen till the end of time, and Nintendo's little tiny bits of control will only make so many people happy before they say, hey, you made this thing, where's the music I love on it? And they'll find another solution themselves. Clip that. Make the video. You might be able to make the mega views for a highly researched and nuanced video. You think so? I mean, do you really think that this sounds like a person who's educated? Because I'm not. But it's just, Dan doesn't like doing negative stuff. I don't. I really don't. But like, there's so much of that has been brought out of me this year, and I don't like that, man. It sucks. Local files are the best way to have and own music. Exactly. They only care about supporting a brand and not gaming. Exactly. Correct. Correct. Yeah. Like, do you know what I used to do back in the day to listen to my favorite music? This is stupid, okay? It's the stupidest thing. I'm gonna drop my 3DS again. Jeez, that was close. I had a Nintendo DS. This is the 3DS, but you get the idea. I had a Nintendo DS with Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2 on it, and I loved that music. Do you know how I listened to that music back before iPods were popular and YouTube to MP3 existed? I plugged in a headphone jack to this thing, and I listened to it with headphones. Because this actually had a feature with the music player in that specific game where you could listen to it, like on the go, holding it like this. I loved that. It was so cool, man. And you know what? I still own that game. Do you think that Nintendo is going to put that music for one of my favorite DS games of all time on their Nintendo Switch service? Nobody cares about Mario vs. Donkey Kong anymore. No, they're not. Meanwhile, I've had those soundtracks on my phone and my PC for over 10 years and been perfectly happy. Why would I use Nintendo Music? Give me a single reason and I will download it right now, so that I can have a random collection of 22 soundtracks that are very complete. Good job. And they're in high quality. Good job. You can download them to listen to offline. Good job. Subscription dependent? No. Absolutely not. They're saying to put up this stuff on Spotify. That is so much worse. They would never do that. I'm glad they're not doing that. But at the very least, do you know how much money they would make if... Imagine for a second. Hang on. This is no longer a Luigi's Mansion stream, guys. I'm sorry. It's more educated than most takes from people who know less about music and game ownership than on Twitter or GBA Temp or any social media site or forum. I appreciate that. I shouldn't have to be educated on this. This stuff should not be not obvious to me. Change the title before someone joins in and thinks it's clickbait. No, we'll get back to Luigi's Mansion, I promise. I promise we will play the game. But Nintendo Music just made me so unreasonably upset when it was announced and I realized exactly what they were doing. The late 2010s and current 2020s have been overall putrid at best and soul draining at worst. And it's funny because the moment that you unplug yourself from the internet and ignore all of it, all that stuff goes away. Because all the companies care about is making your digital usage of anything as controlled as possible. Hello, I'm Luigi, and I'm awake. I just realized I'm doing this with an NES shirt and a Luigi hat. Multiple Mario things in the background. Metroid Dread poster over there. Like, guys, Nintendo has had like half my paychecks at this point. I buy their stuff. I'm a loyal customer. They make good games. But every time they do things like this, it reminds me why I cannot stand them anymore. Imagine for a second, if you will, a Nintendo Music app. Bear with me. A different Nintendo Music app that is essentially an iTunes competitor. You still have a subscription, okay? If you want to. I'm basically describing Xbox Live again, and I'm sorry, I'm going to do this every time subscriptions are brought up. You can choose to, have the subscription to get access to the music, make it part of NSO, that's fine, whatever. But then you have the music library, right? You can access it from your desktop or your phone. You can choose to purchase the albums you want to keep. Is it really that unreasonable? And I know, what I'm saying is stupid, right? Because everybody uses a streaming service now. Everyone uses Pandora or Spotify or Netflix or YouTube Premium. I don't care. Because do you know how much people would pay for a service like this that does everything that is currently doing, except you can buy which soundtracks you want to keep. And then they can build the library over time, which means you build your library over time and you can slowly use it and keep it. And you know what? Yeah, I bet people would put that music in their videos. But here's the thing, they're already doing it anyway. And no matter how many times they get content ID'd, they're gonna keep doing it. Nintendo does not understand how the internet works, and this is further proof of that. Do you see why this is frustrating for me? I gotta drink water. I'm losing my voice. This is the most fired up I've gotten over anything. Genuinely. And I made a video last week where I did nothing but get fired up at everybody. I was nicer about it because it wasn't impromptu and live on a stream, and I'm surprised that everybody has not left yet. But fired up. His voice hasn't gotten past 8 decibels. Thank God for OBS's volume limiter. Watch them add some Alarmo functionality to the app. That could be what they're doing. And you know what? You're not an angry person, it seems like. I'm not! I don't like being angry. I don't like being negative and critical and tired. I don't like being tired of a company that I love the games from, right? Who wants to be like that? I mean, there's a quote that's gone around saying no one hates Nintendo fans more than Nintendo. But like, it's kind of true. Do you remember the days when this system, the Nintendo 3DS, it had a music player that you could put MP3 files onto? Do you know what the majority of people were listening to on this? Downloaded Nintendo music. They could have been buying those soundtracks and putting them on their 3DS, but they didn't do it. So, the fans got tired of waiting, and they ripped the files themselves and made really good soundtrack releases. They still do it today. I won't tell you the sites they're on, unless you DM me on Discord, I guess. I don't care anymore. I really don't care. I am starting to sound like Louis Rossman, and I am, aren't I? I don't want to be like that. But yeah. There was a Street Pass functionality on this thing, right? So you could actually have your top 5 played transmitted to other people. 90% of the time, I was seeing like pirated anime music and video game soundtracks shared in other people's playlists, including my own. Do you know where that came from? The internet. Sometimes people would rip CDs like I actually did and put on this thing. Like I had some Disney music I put on this. I kid you not. This was my MP3 player at the time. It used to be so simple. It used to be so simple, man. And here I am playing a Nintendo game, essentially doing their advertising for them, when frankly, I'd rather not. I like this game. I spent about an hour in it, and I like it, and I'm glad to be playing it again. But man, I feel like such a hypocrite playing a Nintendo game as I am complaining so much about them. And I don't like doing it. I really don't like doing it. I remember using the music player. I put Minecraft songs on it. Yeah, there you go. It's not my fault the industry sucks. Yeah. It's only enjoyable to like a corporation when you just overlook what they do and try to focus more on the products they make unless the products get bad. People are so complacent when the products get bad, though. They don't care anymore. The internet doesn't make it any less easy to not be aware about the evil things the corporations do. Well, can you say those are not all deserved? Do you know what Sega does? When people emulate and mod and make fan games, they hire them. You know what Nintendo does? When people start asking for their soundtracks to be able to buy and purchase and keep and put them on things for like, what is it, over 20, possibly 30 years now? They do this. They make Nintendo music. They fire them from YouTube. Oh my gosh. It's become so dull at this point, and it's become so tiring to listen to people online continue on. I'll never support the corpo ever again, only to keep interacting with the product still. And like, hey, does that make me a hypocrite maybe? Perhaps. I'm still playing on with legally owned copies of a legally purchased console. Well, then again, I bought it from a pawn shop, and maybe companies hate that too. Maybe that makes me evil too. Half of my games are bought at pawn shops and and thrift stores, you know, for like $30. Save a ton of money doing that. But anyway, it's all right, guys. I get the explain. I get the frustration. You know, I know it's very tiresome, and maybe I am one of the worst offenders, right? But that said, I will take every opportunity to do something on my terms when I want to take advantage of emulation and downloading music. And technically, because the games aren't sold anymore, yes, piracy. Call it what you want. I call it preservation. I'm sorry that I spent so much time on this. I'm going to put the game back on, and I'm going to be less frustrated about it. I got it out of my system. Maybe I'll just tell people to watch this part of the stream so I don't have to make a video on it, because I don't want to. Dan, you're not a hypocrite because you enjoy the games? I don't know, man. You are correct, Everett Daniel. I do not like being a negative person. I do not like overly criticizing these different companies. But they have it coming. They're taking advantage of every tool they have to make things so difficult unless you stay in their little bubble. And not everybody jives with that. I don't. It is the reason that I cannot stand Apple devices most of the time. Sega isn't any better. They're only allowing it because Sammy, the other half of the coin is Sega, only sees Sonic for the good press and children seeing him as a hero above all else. Yeah, like, no corporation is your friend, but at the very least, Sonic Mania was allowed to happen and that game was great. I'm not saying that makes the whole company as a whole perfect, but like, it's better. It's better than this, right? Let's play some more video games. I'm so sorry. I know that you guys don't mind me going on tangents, but this is like the angriest that I have been on a stream. And I don't like doing it. I really don't like doing it. And if I am lucky, this will be the last time I get frustrated talking about this. You know? Hopefully this is the end, but I have the feeling it's not. And so I'm just going to keep letting things be the way they are, I guess. But I will still keep doing things on my terms and enjoying things on my terms. I enjoy Luigi's Mansion 3 on my terms. You know what? That felt good, honestly. I shouldn't admit it, but it did feel kind of good. I don't want this to be a regular thing, guys. Just because I made that one video, I don't want this to be like everything I do all the time. But if I see something like this, I used to never call stuff like this. I never used to call stuff out like this. But the cards are honestly like all on the table now. I will call things as I see them from now on. I used to never be that bold because I didn't want people to think I had the wrong opinion or to upset anybody. But like, I am honestly so far past that. It's just something I had bottled up just watching years of people basically poking the bear and getting mad. They get bit after each time. Yeah. It's like the Did You Know Gaming video about Mario fan games that was taken down where most of the ones listed were like, what if Super Mario Bros. 1 was like this? We're seeing character development in real time. You know what? I should thank them. Nintendo has, in a way, forced me to get even more comfortable doing things that I never used to be so publicly vocal about. Like I would say, okay, you know, I'll keep these things to myself. I know where to get these music soundtracks because they won't sell them. And I know how to enjoy games in this way because they aren't sold anymore, but I'm not going to tell people about that. These days, dude, DM me on Discord. I will show you exactly where to get a copy of Citra. I am so far beyond caring anymore. And that means I will never be sponsored. Frankly, good. Now we have a chainsaw. It's very fitting, honestly. Just gonna take a little off the edge. I'm just gonna take a little off the edge. Dan is your dealer for games. I'm not gonna teach you how to pirate Switch games though, because that's dumb. That's not the point, right? It's like what I said in my video. Pirating stuff before it releases with current gen consoles is not the point. And if you think that's the point, then you are asking for trouble. So don't do that. Don't make preservation in general worse for everybody. That's as simple as that. I can't believe we can break this couch. That's amazing. I'm getting my frustration out in real time. Doesn't it feel great, chat? Power move? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it really is. It might actually be more cowardice than anything else because I'm hiding behind the fact that this stuff is such a legal gray area. But it will get to the point where I start to feel more rebellious, honestly, if this keeps up. Maybe it's a good thing, I don't know. I have to play this. There's a chainsaw? Yeah, anyway. Purchase Luigi's Mansion 3. Legally, please. So it doesn't ruin everything for everybody. Yeah, the whole thing with the Yuzu devs, Lasagna Man, I totally agree with. What they did was not great. What they did was not the right way to go about this, at all. Okay. I'm not sure if this is supposed to lead to something. I'm not sure. Chat, what was the timer on that? How long did I talk for about this one dumb thing? Oh, we have to send Luigi in. Okay. Like, hey, I'll admit this is still a very well-designed game that I enjoy on my Nintendo Switch that I purchased. Around 30 minutes? Seriously? Yeah, you say it's looking worse because many fan games were taken just trying to be official looking as possible, even going so far as time to use the official sprite work over making their own. Yeah, that's not great. But like, then again, they shut down the Metroid fan games, right? That, as far as I know, used more original assets. Well, that was cool. You know? So, hey, what do we know, right? Clearly, we're all just in the wrong if we dare to show our love for a company by making some creative work of our own. Yeah, Dan being frank with his opinions. What could be scarier than that, right? I'm gonna try to refrain like going deeply into it for the rest of the stream, but I appreciate you all listening to me about it, and I know that it is an unpopular opinion in a lot of like circles, so I don't want to go on, you know? But if I can talk about it for 30 minutes, yeah, that kind of says a lot, I guess.